Today I'm going over my 24-hour kit list. It's coming up. Okay guys, firstly let me apologise for the audio if it's terrible. I'm using a different setup for a mic than I normally do. I normally run a wired lavalier, but I can't do that here because it'll be all over the place. So I've got it set up to the side. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work, so if the audio is crap, I do apologise. Kit for 24-hour MilSim. A lot of you guys have been asking. I've got a 24-hour MilSim coming up this weekend. What sort of kit I pack, what I would pack, especially those of you that are coming to the op with me. So here we have it. This is all the kit I'm going to take pretty much. You'll notice I've not got any guns here or any of my normal fighting order, and that's because that doesn't really change from op to op. I'll be taking backup gun as well as my primary gun in case that goes down, and I'll be taking some spare. I'll be taking batteries for both guns. Extra kit that I do take for a MilSim though, I'll just run over that quickly. I am a commander on the MilSim, this particular one, so I have a pair of binos, notepad, cam cream, a dressing, dead rag, and obviously pens and stuff to make notes. But that's just extra kit that I will take. That'll go in my my chest rig. I'll be running the chest rig for this op, so that'll be running that, and then I'll be running a day sack on my back for all my other gear. To run through extra kit that I'll be taking for this op. Okay, first things first, I've got a Bergen there. That's I think it's a Dutch issue Bergen. I'm sure it's a Dutch issue Bergen, I can't remember. I'll double check, I'll leave a comment in the thing on it. And next to that I've got a roll mat. This is essentially the house on your back. This one's about 90 litres, can hold 120 litres with the side pouches attached. I don't have those, and although it does make it easier to pack when you've got a side pouch, you can spread everything out a little bit more. It's not essential. Next to that I've got roll mat. Roll mats are there for insulation against the cold of the ground, rather than making your your sleep a bit comfortable from a few stones. So the primary purpose is insulation from the cold of the ground. You can cut those down. You don't really need a full body length one. You can go from head just to your arse, and then cut the rest down and get it even smaller and tighter if you're going for a foam one. You've obviously got the self-inflating air-filled ones. Not a great fan of those. They do tend to separate and you end up with lumps in them. And then obviously you've got the fold-out ones with the sort of bumpy foam. They're pretty good as well. I've got just standard. See some sort of military issue, I don't know where it's from. Next here is a sleeping bag. This is again, I think it's a Dutch sleeping bag, cold weather sleeping bag inside a bivvy bag. If you don't know what bivvy bag is, it's essentially a waterproof sock that your sleeping bag slides inside. You get in both of them, and the bivvy bag keeps you nice and dry. The sleeping bag keeps you nice and warm. These are amazing bits of kit. We used to carry 2 of them on ops, so I'd have one in my patrol pack and one with my sleeping bag inside, because you can get in them. I've literally on Salisbury Plain, I've been on exercise here in the UK, and we've not bothered putting any shelters up. We've just got inside our sleeping bags, inside our bivvy bags, on the side of a bank, and we've gone to sleep, and I've woken up the next morning covered in snow, still dry and still warm. So these are great bits of kit. Coming around here, you can see this, I've got spare batteries for my radios. Again, nice little dry bag there. Dry bag being pretty much exactly the same as a bivvy bag. It's a waterproof bag that you can stick stuff in and seal up. Spare spare pyro, chemical lights, sponges, spare smoke, and these for the day, for the weekend. I've got 24 hours worth of food here. This is essentially a ration pack. I got this from a company, I can't remember the name of the company, but I'll put the link in the description. It's basically exactly the same as a British Army issue one. Very good. I've not tried the food yet, so I don't know how good it'll be, but it can't be any worse than the Army issue one. So, but that's essentially 24 hours worth of food, and that'll be staying in my Bergen. I'll probably not touch that, to be honest, because I'll carry food on me. But that'll be there in case I chew through all my food and I end up hungry. So moving over to here, I've got some spare trousers and a spare shirt. Spare trousers are in case I get, if my trousers get snagged up, I get them ripped. I don't want to go back to the car. It doesn't take much space up, it doesn't take much weight up, I can just stick them in there. Saves me having to take time out from the game, I can just go back to the harbour and switch out. Shirt there, that's their Helicon trousers, I forget which model. 511 tack shirt. It's more of a hot weather shirt, that, but it does act as a good layer if you're gonna if you need to layer up because of cold weather. That underneath a smock, it does create it can be quite nice and warm. So say it is a hot weather shirt, but when you're layering up, it's actually not a bad bit of kit. That coming down here, I've got a knife. This is just a locking knife. This does not go out into the game area whilst I'm playing, other than to stay with the Bergen. Obviously knives out in the game field, they're not dangerous, obviously, unless you're using it for dangerous purposes, but that will be for cutting string and things, putting up the basher and things like that. I keep a multi-tool on me as well, anyway, my normal kit at all times anyway. So another dry bag, a couple of spare pairs of socks, spare t-shirt and spare pair of pants. Spare pair of pants, you know, you never know, you might need a pair. Doesn't take up any weight really. Spare t-shirt, again, if you end up absolutely soaking wet through within the first few hours, you can either spend all weekend wet, or you can stick a dry t-shirt on when it comes to the evening and starts getting cold. Particularly when the evening comes, that's when you want to start maybe thinking about getting some dry kit on if you're piss wet through, because obviously the temperature starts to drop then, and being cold isn't so bad, being wet isn't so bad, being cold and wet, you know, that can ruin your day. Spare socks for the same reason. Wet feet are okay, you know. Sometimes you can't help but have wet feet, but if you can carry a couple of pairs of socks, you should always carry a spare pair of socks with you anyway. But you know, I've got a couple, just again takes up no room. We're not carrying this kit very far. This kit altogether doesn't weigh much anyway. The good thing about airsoft is you don't have the actual weight scales of genuine ammunition. So you know, you can afford to pack a few more luxuries. If your feet get wet, comes to night time, especially if you get a chance to get in your sleeping bag, you know, there's nothing better than getting into a sleeping bag and putting a pair of dry socks on before you get in. If you can take your boots off. Generally speaking, I probably sleep, if I do get into my sleeping bag, I can be with my boots on, but that's because we'll be sleeping in the game area. Another dry bag, as I said, I think I mentioned that, and that is all the kit that's going to be going in my Bergen. See my patrol pack there, that's my 511 Tactical Rush 24. On top of there's another little dry bag that I'll have my phone in and anything else. And for those of you that wonder why I carry a phone, unfortunately because of my job, I always have to be on the other end of the phone, so that's something that I can't help. So I will be taking my phone out into the field with me, like an amateur. The yellow thing you see there is a heli marker panel. Don't really need that for airsoft, but it's part of the fighting order that I carry every day on ops. So I've just added it in because why not? It might come in useful for something to do with one of the missions. Spare pair of mesh goggles. I like to wear lens goggles, but as we all know in the UK they fog up all the time, so I always carry a spare pair of mesh goggles, and I normally end up putting them on within an hour of starting, especially this time of year. Another camelback there. Oh, one thing I didn't touch on was camelback here. I don't think I've got main dry bag here. I'll have my sleeping bag inside here. My camelback there will be my main source of water while I'm with my Bergen. When I'm tabbing out with the Bergen, and when I'm back at my harbour area or anywhere near my Bergen, excuse me, that will be my main source of water. So that's a 3 litre camelback there. And then I've got another 3 litre source hydration bladder, which will go in my 511, my patrol pack basically, and that'll be my water supply while I'm out away from the Bergen or the harbour area. I may stick another couple of bottles in there as well, just to make sure. I can't remember what the water the drinking facilities like at Longway. I think they've got stand taps all around the training areas there, so you can get water if need be. Here I've got 3 meals, 3 board in the bags, and some antibacterial wipes. And then I will also add to that is some snacks, things like nut bars, maybe some beef jerky or something like that, just to keep you going through the day. One thing I haven't got here because I haven't put it in yet is a spoon. Always carry a spoon with you for these things, because then you can just whack one of these out and start eating it if you get hungry, or if you haven't had a chance to eat. So I will have a spoon with all this gear at the same time. Spare battery for my gun, so I don't have to go back to my Bergen to replace the battery if it runs out. Here I've got a face over shemag and a woolly hat. Obviously that's for at night time. Obviously the temperature drops. In the UK the temperature is not too bad. It never really gets that cold like some of you guys. I know some of you guys are from North America that watch my videos, so it doesn't get cold like you get, but without the right gear you can still go down with a cold injury. Gas I will have as well in my Bergen. I'll have a gas canister, which I've got to pick up yet, that's why that's not here. And then this bit of kit here is a little cooker. So the gas canister I use is basically this. Screws on the top, you pull the fins out, and then you can basically rest your metal mug on top there to cook. You can do this option, you can use a mess tin with this option as well, or you can buy a complete unit, I think called a jet boil. They're pretty good. I wasn't a fan of them when they first came out, but by all accounts now they're not too bad actually. But for this, what I use is a metal mug. Goes on top of the stove there. Fill it with water. Put your oil in the bag inside, fold it up, and then once that's heated up, use the leftover water to make a brew inside me, put my metal flask there, and then we're good to go. Just on these, when you're putting these inside your tin, that's some iron in there. Just on these boiling bags, when you put them in a tin like this, best thing to do is to squeeze down any of the food all the way to the bottom so that that food's in the water while it's heating up. With this system then, as I said, leftover water, top it up, make yourself a brew, get yourself in there, get a nice hot drink inside you. Moving on, I've got a first aid kit here. I always have some sort of first aid kit with me at all times. I am medically trained for sort of advanced first aid. But that being said, even without that, a first aid kit of some sort is recommended in my opinion. If you sustain an injury that can be repaired, a cut or anything like that can be fixed with a first aid kit, carrying one on you saves you pulling yourself out of the game and going back to the safe zone. If you cut your finger or whatever, you can just wrap it, tape it up, stick a bandage on it. At the front there I've got some ammo and a speed loader. Now, just to be clear, for those of you that are watching this video that are coming to the Airborne Airsoft game, they do stipulate that you can't reload in field. The reason I carry that ammo is because sometimes our resupply area has been attacked and we've lost our ammo for, you don't lose your ammo for the game, but sometimes it can take a while because the other team are holding that position to get your ammo back. Now sometimes that delay is part of the story, is something that you have to accept because you've lost it, but sometimes like the previous op we did, the delay was just because the guys that were bringing the kit over, it wasn't staff, it was players, they got caught up doing something else. So that's there purely in case I'm in a position where I can start to reload, but I just haven't got my ammo with me because I'm no longer with this bit of kit. It won't be used in game or anything like that. In fact, I'll probably not use it at all for the weekend. I hope I don't have to use it at all. Next to that's a head torch, and then I've got a little, this torch here is a little LED torch that'll be attached to my kit. This is a pretty good torch for looking inside your Bergen and not ruining your night vision too much. You can get these from garage petrol stations, things like that, a couple of quid. This is Tactical Jack one, this came with my kit bag actually. But these are good bits of kit. This big green thing here is softy jacket. That's one of my warm layers basically. What a softy jacket is it's essentially a jacket made out of sleeping bag material. so they're very warm, very great, good bits of kit. Next to that is another dry bag that all my clothing will go into inside the sleeping bag, and then I've also got some cord, a paracord, and some string there, you know, in case I need it. Hydration bladder there, I think I mentioned that, which will be in my patrol pack. In terms of cold weather, the key thing to remember when you're at these sort of events or anything outdoors is you need to do what's called layering up. When you start getting cold, you don't want to just start whacking on all your cold kit at once, because then as it gets colder through the night, your body will adjust, or try and adjust, and you won't be able to stay as warm. So the key thing to do is, once you start getting a bit cold, put your first layer on. I'll probably have a thermal sort of long sleeve shirt as well with me. I'll probably put that on underneath my t-shirt first, and then the softy jacket, and then the shirt and the softy jacket, you know, as it starts to get colder. You know, add layers as the temperature drops even more. It shouldn't be too cold though this time of year in the UK. Certainly not going to be Arctic conditions, and as we'll be moving around most of the time, you know, it shouldn't be too bad. So guys, that's it for part one for my loadout video or kit video for 24-hour MilSim. Check out part two, where I'll go through how I get all of that kit into this system here. It looks really heavy, but it's actually not that heavy at all. So yeah, don't forget to check out part two if you want to see how I pack my kit. And let me know in the comments below what you think, good or bad, of the kit that I've got. You know, any pointers that you guys may have for each other, leave them in the comments below as well. If it's the first time to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. So please do click on the subscribe link if you like what you see. I appreciate every single one of you guys that does do that. Likewise, you can subscribe to the newsletter, which is a sort of maximum once a week newsletter that comes out to your email address and lets you know all the content that's been published either on YouTube or TemplarAirsoft.com. If you are a subscriber, you'll notice it hasn't been out for a while. That's because I've not really put much up into it at the moment, but I will be coming back out weekly. So if you want to subscribe to that, the link will be in the description below. Likewise, all the gear that I've got here, I'll have links in the description where you can get that stuff. And that's it for this week. Be sure to check out part two if you want to see how I pack it. And that's it. If you guys, those of you that are coming to the op, I'll see you there. And for the rest of you, I'll see you next time.